I still remember the taste of blood in my mouth that day. The airport floor was cold and hard against my cheek. People walked past me like I was invisible, like I was nothing. My husband stood over me, his fist still tight, his eyes full of hate I had never seen before. And then he just walked away, left me there, alone, broken, with nothing but a bleeding lip and a heart that would never beat the same way again. But that was 5 years ago. Today he's about to learn what happens when you break someone who refuses to stay broken. My name is Emma. Just Emma. Nothing fancy. Nothing special. At least, that's what I thought about myself for a very long time. I grew up in a small apartment in the city with my mom. She worked 2 jobs just to keep food on our table. I learned early that life doesn't give you anything for free. You work. You fight. You survive. When I met David, I thought my luck had finally changed. He was handsome, tall. He had this smile that made you feel like you were the only person in the whole world. He worked at a big company downtown, wore nice suits, drove a clean car. When he asked me out, I couldn't believe it. Me, plain Emma with the cheap shoes and secondhand clothes? We dated for 2 years. He was sweet at first, brought me flowers, took me to nice restaurants, made me feel pretty, made me feel seen. My mom didn't trust him. She said his eyes were cold, that his smile never reached them. But I didn't listen. I was in love, or at least I thought I was. We got married on a rainy Saturday in March. Small wedding, just a few friends. My mom cried, but not happy tears. I should have known then. I should have seen the signs. But love makes you blind. Love makes you stupid. The first year was okay. David worked a lot, came home late. I didn't mind. I got a job at a small bakery near our apartment. The pay wasn't much, but I loved it. The smell of fresh bread, the warm ovens, the simple joy of making something with my own hands. But then things started to change. David started drinking. Not a lot at first, just a beer here and there. Then it became a bottle, then 2. Then every night, he'd come home angry, yelling about work, about money, about me, always about me. I wasn't pretty enough. I wasn't smart enough. I didn't make enough money. I was useless. The words hurt worse than anything physical ever could. They stuck to my skin like oil, sank into my bones, made me start believing them. Maybe I was useless. Maybe I was the problem. The first time he hit me, I didn't see it coming. We were arguing about something stupid. I can't even remember what. He was drunk. I said something that made him angry. His hand came so fast. The slap echoed in our small kitchen. My cheek burned. Tears filled my eyes. He looked shocked, like he couldn't believe what he'd just done. He said sorry, cried, held me, promised it would never happen again. It happened again, and again, and again. Each time he said sorry. Each time I believed him. Because what else could I do? I had no money saved. My mom was sick by then. I couldn't leave. Where would I go? And part of me, the broken part, thought maybe I deserved it. Maybe if I was better, he wouldn't get so angry. That's what he told me anyway. For 3 years, I lived like that, walking on broken glass, never knowing what would set him off. A burned dinner, a forgotten errand, looking at him the wrong way, breathing too loud, existing too much. I became a ghost in my own life. Then David's company offered him a job overseas. London. Big promotion. Lots of money. He was excited. For the first time in months, I saw him smile. Really smile. He told me we were leaving. Starting fresh. It would be different there, he said. Better. We'd be happy. I wanted to believe him so badly. We packed everything. Sold our furniture. I quit my job at the bakery. My boss, Mrs. Chun, hugged me and told me to be careful. I smiled and said everything would be fine. I lied to her. I lied to myself. The night before our flight, David got drunk. Drunker than usual. He was nervous about the move, about the new job. He paced our empty apartment, bottle in hand, mumbling to himself. I stayed quiet, tried to stay out of his way. But he found me anyway. He started yelling. Said I was holding him back. That I was dead weight. That he should have left me years ago. His words got meaner. His voice got louder. And then his hands got rough. I don't remember all of it. Just flashes. His fist. The wall. My head hitting something hard. The taste of blood. The sound of my own crying. When I woke up, it was morning. My face was swollen. My ribs hurt when I breathed. David was in the shower, singing, like nothing had happened, like he hadn't almost killed me the night before. We went to the airport. I could barely walk. Everything hurt, but I carried my bag, stayed quiet. Maybe in London, things would be different. Maybe once we got there, he'd change. Hope is a dangerous thing when you're desperate. We checked in our bags, got our tickets, walked towards security. David was on his phone the whole time, texting someone, smiling at his screen, not looking at me. And then we got to the security line. That's when everything fell apart. David turned to me. His face was cold, empty, the same face he had when he hit me. He grabbed my arm, tight, so tight it hurt. He pulled me away from the line, away from people, into a corner near the bathrooms. "What are you doing?" I asked. My voice was small, scared. "Change of plans," he said. "What?" "You're not coming." The words didn't make sense at first. I just stared at him. "What do you mean?" "I mean you're not coming to London. I don't want you there. I never did." My heart stopped. But we're married. We're done, Emma. I'm done with you. You're pathetic. You're weak. You're nothing. I don't know why I ever married you." Tears burned my eyes. "David, please. There's someone else," he said. Just like that. Flat. Cold. "I've been seeing her for a year. She's coming to London with me. She's already there waiting. You were just convenient. Until you weren't." I couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. A year. Yeah, a year. And she's everything you're not. Beautiful. Smart. Successful. She doesn't cry all the time. She doesn't make me feel like garbage. She makes me happy. Each word was a knife. Stabbing. Twisting. "So this is it," he said. "Go home. Figure your life out. I don't care. Just stay away from me." He started to walk away. I grabbed his arm. "Wait. Please. Don't do this. I love you. We can work this out. I'll be better. I promise. Just please." He turned around so fast. His hand came up. Not a slap this time. A punch. Full force. Right to my face. I went down hard. Hit the floor. My vision went black for a second. When it came back, everything was blurry. I tasted blood again. So much blood. My nose. My mouth. I couldn't tell where it was all coming from. People stopped walking. Stared. But no one helped. No one came over. They just looked. Some took out their phones. Maybe to call for help. Maybe to record. I don't know. David looked down at me. Not angry. Not sorry. Just nothing. Like I was a bug he just stepped on. "Have a nice life, Emma," he said. And then he walked away. Through security. Gone. I laid there on that cold airport floor for what felt like forever. Finally, a security guard came over. Helped me up. Asked if I was okay. Asked if I wanted to press charges. Call the police. I said no. What was the point? David was gone. On a plane. Out of the country. Out of my life. I went home to our empty apartment. Sat on the floor. And cried until I had nothing left inside me. That was 5 years ago. The transformation. The first month after David left was the hardest month of my entire life. I had nothing. No job. No money. No furniture. The apartment was paid until the end of the month, and then I'd be out on the street. I couldn't eat. Couldn't sleep. Just sat in that empty space and stared at the walls. I thought about dying. A lot. It would be so easy. So peaceful. Just stop. Stop hurting. Stop remembering. Stop existing. But then I got angry. Not sad. Not hurt. Angry. Who was David to decide my life was over? Who was he to break me and walk away like I was nothing? I gave him everything. My time. My love. My dignity. And he threw it all away like garbage. No. No more. I wasn't going to die. I wasn't going to disappear. I was going to survive. And more than that, I was going to make him regret ever hurting me. I called Mrs. Chun from the bakery. She gave me my job back. I worked morning shifts. Then I got a second job at a diner at night. I worked 14 hours a day. Every day. Saved every penny I could. I moved into a tiny room. Shared bathroom down the hall. It was awful. But it was mine. And it was a start. At night, after work, I studied. Got my high school diploma online. Then I took business classes. Marketing classes. Anything I could find for free or cheap. I read books from the library. Watched videos online. Learned everything I could about business. About success. About building something from nothing. It took 2 years of living like that. Barely sleeping. Barely eating. Working and studying and fighting every single day. But then things started to change. I met a woman named Grace at the diner. She was older. Successful. Owned her own business. She came in every Tuesday night for coffee and pie. Always sat at the same booth. Always left a big tip. We talked sometimes. Small talk at first. Then deeper conversations. One night, she asked me what I wanted from life. I told her the truth. I wanted to be successful. I wanted to be strong. I wanted to be someone who mattered. She smiled. You already matter, Emma. You just don't see it yet. Grace became my mentor. My friend. My lifeline. She taught me about confidence. About standing tall. About believing in myself. She introduced me to people. Important people. Business owners. Investors. People who saw something in me I couldn't see in myself. She helped me get a loan. Small, but enough. And I used that money to start my own business. A bakery. But not just any bakery. A beautiful, modern bakery. The kind people take pictures of and post online. I used everything I learned working for Mrs. Chun. Every recipe. Every trick. And I added my own touch. My own style. I called it Rise. Because that's what I was doing. Rising. From the ashes. From the floor of that airport. From the broken girl David left bleeding. The first year was hard. Really hard. Long hours. No days off. But people loved it. The bread. The pastries. The coffee. The atmosphere. Word spread. Lines got longer. Money started coming in. By year 3, I opened a second location. By year 4, I had 5 bakeries across the city. I hired people who needed second chances. Single mothers. People down on their luck. People like me. I paid them well. Treated them with respect. Built something good. Something that mattered. I was on the news. In magazines. People wanted to know my story. How I built all this from nothing. I never mentioned David. Never said his name. That part of my life was buried. Dead. Gone. But I never forgot. Every morning, I looked at myself in the mirror. At the face that had hit the airport floor. And I remembered. I used that memory. That pain. That anger. As fuel. I became someone new. Not the broken girl David knew. Someone stronger. Smarter. Richer. More successful than he could ever dream of being. I changed how I looked too. Lost weight. Not because I wanted to be pretty, but because I wanted to be strong. Healthy. I learned to dress well. Do my makeup. Style my hair. Not for men. Not for anyone else. For me. When I looked in the mirror now, I saw a woman who could stand on her own. Who didn't need anyone. Who couldn't be broken anymore. And then, exactly 5 years after David left me bleeding on that airport floor, I got a message that changed everything. It was a Tuesday afternoon. I was at my main bakery location, the first one, going over paperwork in my office. My phone buzzed. A message on social media from someone I didn't know. Usually I ignored these. I got lots of messages. People asking for jobs. For money. For advice. But something about this one caught my eye. You don't know me, but I think you should know the truth about your ex-husband, David Miller. My heart stopped. I hadn't heard that name in years. Hadn't let myself think about him. But now, seeing it on my screen, all the old feelings came rushing back. The anger. The pain. The humiliation. I almost deleted it. Almost blocked the account. But curiosity won. I typed back. Who are you? The response came fast. My name is Rachel. I was with David for 4 years. He told me you were dead. That you died in an accident. He showed me fake news articles. Made me believe him. But I found out the truth. He's a liar. And a monster. And I think you deserve to know what he's been doing. My hands shook. David told her I was dead? Made up fake news articles? What kind of sick person does that? Tell me everything. I typed. Over the next hour, Rachel told me David's story. After he left me, he went to London with another woman. Her name was Lisa. They dated for 6 months before she found out he was married. To me, when she confronted him, he hit her. Just like he hit me. She left him and went to the police. But David ran. Came back to the States. That's when he met Rachel. He told her he was single. Successful. Looking for love. She fell for it. They moved in together. And then the same pattern started. The drinking. The yelling. The hitting. For 4 years, she lived the same nightmare I did. But Rachel was smarter than me. Braver. She recorded everything. Took pictures of her bruises. Kept evidence. And when she finally left him 3 months ago, she went to the police. Filed a restraining order. Pressed charges. David was arrested. But he posted bail. Got a lawyer. And now he was fighting the charges. Claiming Rachel was lying. That she was crazy. That he was the victim. The trial is in 2 weeks, Rachel wrote. And I'm scared. His lawyer is good. Really good. And I'm just me. Nobody. I'm afraid he's going to win. That he's going to walk away free. And then he's going to do this to someone else. My blood was boiling. David hadn't changed. He was still the same monster. Still hurting people. Still getting away with it. Can I help? I typed. What do you need? Honestly, a miracle. Or another victim willing to testify. Someone who can show the jury that this is a pattern. That I'm not making it up. That he's done this before. And just like that, I knew what I had to do. When and where is the trial? I asked. She sent me the details. I'll be there. I typed. And Rachel? He's not going to win. Not this time. For the next 2 weeks, I barely slept. I met with Rachel. Shared my story. Showed her pictures I still had from that night at the airport. My medical records from after. Pictures of bruises. Of injuries. Of everything David did to me that I had buried away for 5 years. Rachel connected me with her lawyer. A woman named Jennifer. Sharp. Smart. No nonsense. When I told her my story, her eyes got hard. You're exactly what we need, she said. A prior victim. This shows pattern in history. This could win the case. But there was a problem. I had never reported David. Never pressed charges. Never went to the police. It was my word against his. And David's lawyer would tear me apart on the stand. Call me a liar. Say I was making it up for money or attention. Let them try, I said. I'm not afraid of him anymore. Jennifer prepared me. Taught me how to handle cross-examination. How to stay calm. How to tell my story clearly and truthfully. We practiced for hours. Days. Until I could say everything without breaking down. Without crying. Without showing weakness. Because that's what David would want. He'd want to see me break. Want to see me fall apart on the stand. Want to prove I was still that scared, weak girl from 5 years ago. But I wasn't her anymore. The night before the trial, I couldn't sleep. I stood in front of my mirror. Looked at the woman staring back. Strong. Confident. Successful. Everything David said I'd never be. Tomorrow, I whispered to my reflection, he pays. The courthouse was big. Cold. Intimidating. I walked through the front doors, wearing a simple black suit. Hair pulled back. No jewelry. Professional. Serious. Rachel was already there. She looked scared. Tired. I recognized that look. I'd worn it for 3 years. Thank you for coming, she said, her voice shaking. I hugged her. We're going to end this. Today. We walked into the courtroom together. And that's when I saw him. David. Sitting at the defense table with his lawyer. He looked older. Thinner. His suit was expensive, but he looked tired. Worn down. When his eyes met mine, I saw shock. Pure shock. Like he was seeing a ghost. Good. Let him be afraid. The trial started. The prosecutor went first. Laid out the case against David. The abuse. The assault. The pattern of violence. Rachel took the stand. Told her story. Cried. But stayed strong. Showed pictures of her bruises. Her injuries. David's lawyer tried to make her look crazy. Said she was unstable. That she made everything up. That David was a good man. A victim of a vengeful ex-girlfriend. I watched David the whole time. He sat there looking innocent. Sad. Like he was the one who'd been hurt. Like he was the victim. It made me sick. Then Jennifer called me to the stand. The courtroom went quiet as I walked up, raised my right hand, swore to tell the truth. I sat down, looked out at the jury, 12 people who would decide David's fate. And then I looked at him, right in his eyes. He looked away first. Jennifer asked me to state my name. Emma Miller, I said. My voice was clear, strong, though I go by Emma Hart now. Miller was my married name. I changed it after my ex-husband abandoned me. And who is your ex-husband? Jennifer asked. David Miller, the defendant. A murmur went through the courtroom. David's lawyer looked surprised. He hadn't expected this, hadn't known about me. Jennifer walked me through my story. How we met, how we married, how the abuse started, how it got worse. I told them everything. The hitting, the yelling, the night before the airport when he beat me so badly I could barely walk. And then I told them about the airport. He punched me in the face. I said, my voice steady, in front of dozens of people, left me bleeding on the floor. And then he walked away, got on a plane, left the country. I never saw him again. Until today. The jury was riveted. Some looked horrified, some looked angry, but they were all listening. Jennifer showed them pictures, my medical records, everything. Why didn't you press charges at the time? Jennifer asked. Because I was broken, I said honestly. I believed I deserved it, that I was worthless. That's what he told me every day for 3 years. And I believed him. But I don't believe that anymore. When Jennifer was done, David's lawyer stood up for cross-examination. He was slick, smooth, tried to make me look like I was lying. Isn't it true you've been very successful in the last 5 years, Miss Hart? Yes. You own multiple businesses. You're quite wealthy now. I've worked very hard, yes. And isn't it possible you're here for money? For revenge? That you're making up the story to hurt Mr. Miller? I looked right at him, then at David, then at the jury. I don't need his money, I said. I make more in a month than David probably makes in a year. I'm not here for revenge. I'm here because Rachel deserves justice. Because I deserved justice 5 years ago and didn't get it. Because if I stay silent, some other woman is going to end up on the floor bleeding. And I won't let that happen. The courtroom was silent. David's lawyer had nothing else. He sat down. The rest of the trial went fast. Closing arguments. Jury deliberation. Rachel and I sat outside the courtroom waiting. She held my hand. We didn't talk. Just waited. 3 hours later, the jury came back. Guilty. On all charges. Rachel burst into tears. Hugged me. Thanked me over and over. I just stared at David as the officers put handcuffs on him. He looked at me one last time. And this time, I saw fear in his eyes. Real fear. Good. Now he knew what it felt like. After the trial, reporters wanted to talk to me. Wanted my story. I gave one interview. Told them everything. Not for fame. Not for attention. But so other women would know they weren't alone. That they could survive. That they could rise. The interview went viral. Millions of views. My bakeries got even more popular. But more importantly, I got messages. Thousands of them. From women thanking me. Telling me their stories. Saying I inspired them to leave. To fight back. To survive. That meant more than any amount of money ever could. David got sentenced to 15 years in prison. He'll be an old man when he gets out. If he gets out, Rachel started therapy. Started healing. Last I heard, she's back in school. Building her own life. Her own future. As for me, I kept building. Kept growing. Opened more bakeries. Started a foundation to help abuse survivors. Gave them jobs. Resources. Hope. One morning, exactly 6 years after David left me at the airport, I went back there. Stood in the exact spot where I fell. Where I bled. Where I thought my life was over. A little girl walked past with her mother. Dropped her toy. I picked it up. Handed it to her. She smiled at me. Thank you, her mother said. You're welcome, I said. They walked away. And I stood there. In that spot. And I realized something. David didn't break me. He tried. God, he tried so hard. But he failed. I broke myself out of the prison he built around me. I rose from that floor. became someone new, someone stronger, someone who couldn't be hurt like that again. He wanted me to disappear, to be nothing. Instead, I became everything. And that was the best revenge of all. I walked away from that spot, out of the airport, into the bright morning sun. My phone buzzed. A message from Grace, my mentor. Morning meeting at 9. Big investor interested in expanding. Could go national. You ready? I smiled. Was I ready? I'd been ready for 5 years. I typed back. On my way. And I walked forward. Into my future. Into my life. The life I built from nothing. From pain. From blood on an airport floor. David tried to destroy me. Instead, he created the woman who destroyed him. And I would never, ever be that broken girl again. I was Emma Hart, and I had risen.